Regarded by many as the worst coaster ever built, T3 was just announced to be closing at Kentucky Kingdom with no last rides possible, as its last ever run-through was in mid-2022. After reopening in just 2015 after going under renovation when the park reopened, it operated for just 7 seasons. Why is it closing, and what could replace it? Here are my thoughts and predictions on T3 at Kentucky Kingdom. So why could T3 be retiring? Unfortunately, the park gave no information about the closure and just announced that the ride would be retiring. Also included in the statement was information on upcoming 2023 news, especially for pass holders. However, this was left very vague, most likely on purpose. I bet that this information has nothing to do with the actual retirement, but we'll get to that later. In my opinion, T3 may have just closed because it reached the end of its service life. T3 opened in 1995 and was the second ever Vekoma's SLC, and other newer ones have also already closed. However, the main purpose for closure was most likely a lack of ridership. These SLCs are horrible, and even the general public tends to stay away from them. This makes it the most likely reason for the closure. Now let's get into some possible predictions. My first prediction is the least likely, but could T3 be getting another refurb? Originally, T2 at Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom had the traditional hard plastic restraints. After the park reopened, T2 got a repaint and new trains, which might have been even worse. Vekoma implemented lap bars, which removed headbanging but stapled riders so hard that some lost feeling in their legs by the end of the ride. So could this ride receive another refurb, hence the reason it won't be reopening this season? While the refurb is extremely unlikely, a nicer repaint and updated trains with the vest restraints, or even small track adjustments like Great Nor'easter, would make for a much more enjoyable ride experience. Coaster enthusiasts and the general public have continuously talked about how Great Nor'easter is the best ride at Maurice Piers, and by far the best SLC. And this would be helpful, as Kentucky Kingdom only has T3 as a suspended coaster, and Storm Chaser is the only other roller coaster that inverts in the park, with only 2 inversions. Now let's talk about some possible ride expansions. The location of T3 is vital to this prediction. T3 is located smack dab in the middle of the water park. While some of Kentucky Kingdom's dry park rides are in the water park, such as the Star Flyer and Kentucky Flyer, T3 is around no other dry park ride. This makes it a prime location for a new water slide. However, Kentucky Kingdom has basically every water slide you could need. They have a water coaster, drop slides, lazy rivers, funnel slides, bowl slides, basically everything. There are only 2 other slides I could consider being added. The first is a racing slide. These racing slides are extremely popular among crowds. Racing your friends on a water slide flying down a spiral track is exhilarating, especially because there is no other racing attraction in all of Kentucky Kingdom. The closest racing attraction is Holiday World for its racing slide, and that doesn't even have a downward spiral. The other water attraction would be one of the new rotating slides. There aren't that many in the US, but it would make for a unique water attraction. Implementing a nearly one-of-a-kind attraction to a smaller park could bring in crowds from miles away. Also, compared to their last major addition, a family coaster, a thrilling slide that looks this complex is a big step up. Other than that, however, there really aren't a lot of additions I could see being implemented at the Kentucky Kingdom. Hurricane Bay has so many great attractions already, and so does Splash and Safari just an hour away. Now let's get into the dry park attractions. Before we get into coasters, let's first look at some other possibilities. They did say that the 2023 season holds season pass benefits. If this does actually refer to T3's plot, it could become a VIP zone, similar to Cedar Fair's sectioned off areas for pass holders. These provide a private snack bar for no additional cost and covered seating. In the water park especially, these seats could be very useful for season pass visitors. It would also fit with everything the park statement said. As for flat rides, with Kentucky Kingdom being so small, you would think that there are a lot of possibilities. However, Kentucky Kingdom has an inverting flat ride with Scream Extreme, a drop tower, frisbee, and a Star Flyer. The only real thing that I can picture being over here is an SNS Scream and Swing, maybe of the smaller variants. These are one of the most thrilling flat rides in the park and would provide tons of pure floater airtime, a park that mainly focuses on ejector. Other than that, the only possibility could be a Zamperla Disco. These are making a return in new variants, and I could see that showing up at Kentucky Kingdom for a more unique experience. Even something like Pipe Scream could fit well here. Now let's get into coasters. Kentucky Kingdom really needs 2 specific coaster types if T3 doesn't get removed: a suspended coaster and a launch coaster. Of the 2, I much prefer a launch coaster, as removing a suspended coaster for another suspended coaster doesn't seem likely. Also, Banshee is just an hour away, and while Kings Island and Holiday World both have launch coasters, they aren't specifically focused on the launch. Thunderbird is a wing coaster and Flight of Fear is indoors, and both of those have weak launches. Kentucky Kingdom's coaster would have a powerful launch with many intense moments afterward. If this launch coaster actually happens, which if any coaster is built, I think that this would be the most likely, it would probably be done by Vekoma or Mach. I say Vekoma because of Hershen's recent relationship with the manufacturer building Big Bear Mountain. Also, these newer Vekomas, especially the Space Warp or Top Gun models, are exactly what Kentucky Kingdom needs. Maybe this is why Vekoma posted a video captioned "Soon" on Instagram. A couple of inversions with 1 or 2 launches and many rapid transitions. The thing is, even without a ride like this, Kentucky Kingdom is very well rounded. Lightning Run is focused on airtime, Storm Chaser is intensity, and it's really just inversions or transition focused ride, which is exactly what this would be. A Copperhead Strike type ride would be fantastic. Maybe even Gerstlauer could come in to build a ride. Dollywood has Mystery Mines, so maybe Kentucky Kingdom could receive an infinity coaster like Hangtime that specializes in inversions and a steep drop. As I previously mentioned, Kentucky Kingdom only has 2 coaster inversions other than T3. Finally, let me throw in an odd but possible prediction. Vekoma is making new generation style boomerangs. These look great and would be fantastic for implementing hangtime and inversions with a unique shuttle experience, which the park is also lacking. Also, maybe there could even be a launch out of the station instead of a lift climb, which would fill that launch gap. Other than that, with Kentucky Kingdom being so well-rounded, I don't have any other predictions. So in conclusion, I'm very happy that T3 has closed. It was a horrible ride that could now be filled with a new experience. The least likely predictions are probably the boomerang and the refurb, and the most likely are the new racing slides and a launch coaster, which would be great in the park's lineup. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think about T3 at Kentucky Kingdom and have a great rest of your day.